So we're going to look at materials now, how to apply different basic materials to your objects. We're just going to do some fairly simple material operations first, basically changing the colour of the material and the reflectivity of it. To demonstrate the process, I'm just going to create a basic model, so I'll bring this panel out because we're going to be using it quite a bit, and add my Subdivision surface modifier. Shading to smooth, so we've done this before. Then in edit mode, I'm going to just do some extrusions with this object to create sort of an arm, a cartoon arm. Just extrude out a little bit further. Then to create a fold in cloth, this is useful for your sort of cartoon type characters, but you can use it for realistic modelling as well. And just extrude, very small distance, scale down, extrude instead of this way, extrude back into the model, scale that down a bit, and then extrude back out. So we've got like a cloth shirt here with an arm poking out. Okay, simple cartoon hand. Just extrude once, twice. Now cartoon characters, particularly in 3D but also in 2D, they actually tend to have 4 fingers or 3 fingers and a thumb instead of 4 fingers and a thumb. Just tends to look a bit better for a cartoon style character. So I'm going to do that now. Let's grab this middle edge here, and I want to bring it forward, so I'll use my top view. Just drag this edge forward, and same on this edge, top view, bring it forward. And I'll go into my side view. So what I've created here is 3 faces that I can bring fingers out from. I'm just going to fiddle with the size of these so they're a little bit more even. Something like that. I'll do a loop cut around here, Control R, and then I'll just bring this edge forward a little bit on the Y axis. Oops, not so far. And then select these 1, 2, 3, 4 faces. Now normally we do an extrusion, but if I extrude right now, it extrudes it all as a bunch, and I want separate fingers. So I'll just undo that, Control Z. Over here, instead of extruding a region like we normally do when we press E, we're going to extrude the individual faces. So if I tap that button, there we go, we've got a basic cartoon sort of hand developing. Just broaden this one out a bit. Normally I'd fiddle around with this at this point to get a bit more of a natural shape to the hand, but I won't worry now because the focus right now is on our materials. Okay, so adding a material is fairly simple. I'll just go back into object mode to do it because I can get a clearer picture of what we're looking at. To add a material, over from our modifiers, you'll see this little circle panel here. This is our material panel, and Blender gives every object a default material here called material. We can change the name by typing another one in here, so I'll just call this material arm. Press enter. Okay, so the 2 things I really want you to look at for now are the diffuse and the specular values. So the diffuse colour is just the basic colour of your object. I'll find something a little bit of a sort of a skin tone, somewhere around there. And the specular is the colour of the reflecting highlights here that you see. So I'll give it quite a unusual specular colour. What have we got? Something like that. You can see this blue tinge that's happening in our highlights, and if you fiddle with these values you can adjust the strength of these. Whoops. Just building up the strength, and then the hardness value. If I lower the hardness, I get a broader highlight. See, it's starting to grow there. You can definitely see these two colours feeding in. Okay, so that's basically how to apply a material. You can fiddle around yourself. There's things like mirroring, which controls how reflective things are. Later on we're going to look at textures as well, which is a sort of another step up. But just for your basic materials, have a fiddle with these two. Okay, last thing, in our model we've got our arm textured nicely, but presumably the shirt is going to be a different colour. So we can apply multiple materials to one mesh. If I go into edit mode now, and I'm just going to select the faces for the arm, and sometimes for this, if you recall, we looked in our modifier for the subdivision surface modifier. We can turn on this view, which gives us just a direct view of what's been subdivided here. I find that useful. So I'm going to go and select the parts of the mesh that are the shirt, not the arm. Just holding down shift while I do that. And then back in my materials here, so at the moment I've got this arm material that I created. If I come down with these selected now, we need to select first to do this. I can create a new material with the plus key. Just decide what I want this to be, and then assign, so plus up here, hit the wrong one, over from the side to the side of the materials. Okay, so we've got a blue Martian arm now. That's alright, I don't care. So I've just created a new material here. Click the new button. I can give it a name, so we'll call this one shirt. Now let's say we want the shirt to be green. And then I click this assign button, which will assign this new material that I've created to these selected vertices. And that's it. So we've now got a character with a green shirt and a blue hand. Fantastic.